All right, honorary captains for number 1, Zera Spook matchup versus number 8, Sidewinder Worm. Z for Zera equals Z for Zelmo. And Sidewinder goes with Jamal Wilkes for his interesting shooting style. And it's kind of cool here, too. The earlier card actually has him as Keith Wilkes before the name change.
All right, Lake Storey round 2 kicks off. Number 1, Zera Spook versus number 8, Sidewinder Worm. Zera Spook's starting lineup here features the red and white classic original, a black shore minnow. The middle one, my fishing buddy Hack used to call the pickle, blue shore minnow. And that bottom one looks pretty cool. I bought that on my honeymoon in 2002. Don't know if it ever hit the water. Sidewinder worms here were kind of neat. They featured a laminate pattern where it's kind of dark on top, light underneath. One of the first times I'd seen that. One of my go-to worms back in the 80s. However, both these being from the 80s, the Spook is going to claim the 80s title in this batch and move on to the next round.
Honorary captains for number 5, Meps versus number 4, Bomber Flat A. For the Meps, six-man extraordinaire John Havlicek, Ohio State Buckeye and Boston Celtics superstar. For the Bomber, a true bomber, University of Kentucky legend and Kentucky Colonel ABA star Louis Dampier.
All right, next up, number 5, Meps versus number 4, Bomber Flat A. The Meps here sports quite a starting lineup, which interestingly enough does not include the original squirrel tail model. However, down there at the bottom, there is a homemade bait given to me by a fellow named Frank Harvey many years ago. This one is the valuable 6-man off the bench, the John Hondo Havlicek of the Meps family, the Ohio State star later on to move on to the Celtics and always gave him a spark off the bench. This one, interestingly enough, is called the Snake Den Slash. Frank also gave me one called the Imaquan Equalizer. Pretty cool. Bomber Flat A's, great cold water crankbaits, tight wobble. That man in the middle there, the baby bass pattern, something about that one at Lake Storey hits the spot, that black and orange color combo. Free tip for you there. Send me an email with how you do. In this case, the Meps is going to take the victory. It's just a classic, tough to beat.
All right, honorary captains for number 3, Blue Glimmer versus number 11, Ratlin Rogue. For the Blue Glimmer, you got the powder blue color, brings back a fantastic starting 5 from the University of North Carolina Tar Heels. For the Rogue, we got a real rim rattler in Daryl Dawkins. The man used to name his dunks, for crying out loud. Shout out also to Dr. Duncanstein, Daryl Griffith, who could have been included here as well.
Next up, we got number 11, the Ratlin Rogue, versus number 3, the Blue Glimmer Spinnerbait. Now, these Ratlin Rogues here, kind of a combo with some NCAA legends. Down there at the bottom, we got the big boys, reminiscent of what would become the NBA's Houston Rockets Twin Towers. Hakeem Olajuwon out of Houston and Ralph Sampson out of Virginia, 2 outstanding college hoopsters back in the day. As far as the Blue Glimmer, I got to give a shout out to the University of North Carolina Tar Heels. That little bit of powder blue there takes you back to the days of Phil Ford, Charlie Scott, Bob McAdoo, even Billy Cunningham. And they're going to pull out the victory as the Blue Glimmer lasts as one of the best spinnerbaits to ever hit the water.
For the number 10, Man's 20-plus crankbait versus number 2, Booyah Spinnerbait matchup. For the 20-plus, Downtown, Freddie Brown. And for the Booyah, Pistol Pete Maravich.
Next up, we have number 10, the Man's 20-plus crankbait versus number 2, the Booyah Spinnerbait. These, the Man's 20-plus, there's only one that survives. The rest of them are stuck out in the bottom of a lake somewhere. So I've got a couple of his brethren there with him. The middle one, I believe, is called something called the Pig. And then the couple there at the bottom that are some 10-plus divers. These take me back to some long-range bombers. Louis Dampier, Rex Chapman, Downtown Freddie Brown. Guys you had to guard as soon as they crossed half court. As far as the Booyah Spinnerbaits, consistent producers, these are pretty battered, but that just is a testament to their effectiveness. Still got some flash, though. Reminds me of a couple guys, say a Pistol Pete Maravich or a Bill Walton. Beat up, but plodding up and down the court and still getting it done. Winner in this case, Booyah Spinnerbait.